Medium-sized SUVs are all the rage these days. VW, BMW, Audi, Mercedes, Toyota, everybody has an SUV. Well, Skoda is no exception, and they are firmly cementing themselves into the mix with the all-new 2017 So here we are inside the Kodiaq, this one being the 2-litre TDI 4x4 7-seat edition. First impressions are it's very spacious and very comfortable. The seats are leather stroke leatherette. They're very comfortable indeed. They're not intrusive on your back. There's a little bit of lumbar support, but not a great deal. But at the end of the day, it's not a sporty car. You can tell that because when you put your foot down, there's a little bit of a hesitation from this 2-litre 187 brake horsepower engine.
It is, however, a big, heavy car. At 1 3/4 tons, that's moving a lot of material.
It is. The steering wheel is adjustable, rake and up and down. It's very soft leather. It's multifunction. You've got all your gadgets on it that you need. The indicators are very smooth. And the thing I noticed the most about this is that even though it's not lightning quick off the mark, it is a very smooth pickup, albeit with a tiny bit of delay. Like so. You're driving along, put your foot down, and there you go. It builds up the revs, and then the old man inside goes, "Oh, we're off, are we?" And off we go. No, that's unfair. Not old man. There is a driving mode button, of course, so you push the driving mode button and it comes up on the display here what you want. You can have eco, normal, sport mode, snow and individual. We of course will go for sport mode, and you can almost feel it go, ooh.
It changed, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm a little bit ready. So now when you put your foot down, you've still got that little bit of delay, but it revs a bit harder and pulls a little bit quicker.
Something I'm noticing at this point is quite a lot of wind noise up here on the door.
I've noticed that on this side as well. Just in this corner here, you've got a little bit of wind bubble, but it is quite windy today.
It's not bad, and there's not a lot from the tyres, which a lot of cars with big wheels and tyres suffer with.
Very little road noise.
But the wind noise it's not intrusive, but it is there. If you had the radio on, you probably wouldn't notice it.
No. One thing you do notice is that you do feel as though you're in a spacious cabin. There's lots of space around you, plenty of headroom, plenty of room till you hit the window, and plenty of room till you're touching your passenger.
Didn't touch us all there, look. Oh,
You do get soft bits of plasticky leather on the side here, soft on your armrest,
soft on the dash.
a little bit scratchy on the hand pulling device that shuts the door, but
this dashboard has a trim section with an odd design on it, is to say the least. It looks a bit like someone's...
it's a little bit like runny egg.
Yeah, someone smeared egg across it or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it's got a style about
it. You've got a nice view from this. It's not a huge rear view mirror,
no, but it works.
You can see everything. I think it's concave, so you've got a nicer view out of the back. Awesome. It's very clear, and obviously that adjusts with the sun or the light.
You get monstrous door mirrors as well. They're great.
The door mirrors are huge. What I'm also liking is these pillars. Usually you find in these big SUVs, these pillars are huge and they get in your way, sort of mess up your blind spot. In this, I'm not finding that. They're quite narrow, and the window is wide enough so they are out of the way. That's pretty impressive, that.
They're big, but in the correct direction.
Exactly that. So the model we have for testing is the Edition, and this one has lots of optional extras. So we're going to go through some of those features of what you get in this vehicle as standard and what you get as extra on top of that, and then we'll give you a price as to how much this actual car would cost. You get the multifunction steering wheel where you can connect your phone, you've got the volume up and down, the usual stuff you get on a steering wheel these days.
You get a sat-nav with an 8-inch touch screen.
You also get the DVD system in the glove box.
With 2 SD slots. A USB connectivity and an auxiliary input.
And of course your 12 volt stroke cigarette lighter, which you're not allowed to call a cigarette lighter, adapter in there as well. Your buttons are down here for your off-road, your ESP, your parking brake, which of course is electronic, and your driving modes.
And up here you have an SOS button, which I imagine if you're not careful you could accidentally press when you're opening your glasses stroke whatever thing you want to put in there.
Storage bin. It's very close. The button is here and then the SOS button is here.
Yeah, there's only 2
So
inches.
if you're looking where you're going, it's a possibility that you could accidentally push the SOS button. So you may be apologising a lot. Sorry, didn't mean to, just want my sunglasses. There is something that's a little bit concerning, is that the gap by the windscreen is quite large. Now this is an A4 size piece of paper, but it goes down quite far to there. So if it's a small piece of paper, it could actually get lost. You do get the little clip for a car park ticket, but if that falls out or the wind blows it, it's bye-bye. The armrest could be out of the way, so you can get to the little storage compartment down here. Or, if you want to put your arm up, you can move it forward. Like that, and then it's more level for your arm. Or, you can move it out of the way completely. This compartment here is removable, so you can take it out, turn it over and have an extra little shelf, or just take it out completely. Something else that's a little bit concerning is that it's a heavy door, and the handle for the door is near the front. So when you come and close it, there's quite a lot of pressure you've got to put on at the front of the door, whereas you would think the handle would be maybe back here. So you've really got to pull on the door to close it properly. LED lights are plentiful. You have them here. You have them here. You also have them in the back. Oh, very nice. The stop-start button is here where you would traditionally put a key. Now, some people might find that quite handy because it keeps the dashboard neat. However, me, I like a nice big button on the dash. What I often find in these SUVs or these new crossovers is that these are too high, but in this it seems perfect. Obviously you can adjust your seat up and down. You have it quite low, I have it quite high. You tend to find it a bit van-like, don't you, when it's quite high?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a transit.
To me, I don't. I feel as though I'm still in an SUV and it's comfortable enough and I've got enough view of the road. It's not a power thing, it's just I like to be higher when you're in an SUV, and I feel very comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, although it's comfortable, I don't think I would remain comfortable on a 200-mile journey. I think I'd become uncomfortable quite quickly.
Really?
I don't know, that's maybe just because I'm used to a different type of seat, I don't know. But, I mean, I've fiddled with the adjustment on this, and I don't know, I'm not entirely happy with how I feel in it.
I quite like it.
I mean, there is lumbar and things which you can mess with.
There is lumbar support, and you can feel it in your back right here.
That's adjustable. With a little round switch on the side here.
It's alright.
You can make it jab you right on the lower lumbar part of your back.
Yeah, so it is electronically adjustable.
Yeah. So this particular model is a 4x4. There obviously is a 2-wheel drive version which wouldn't have this. This particular one has the off-road button down here, which gives you hill descent control, and also you can have a hill start assist. So if you are sat on a hill and you take your foot off the brake, it's not going to roll back into the car or van or whatever's behind you. So that's always a nice feature to have, I find.
I also find there's not a lot of body roll. When you're going round a roundabout, you're not slung into the door or headbutting the passenger going round a roundabout. It's very nice.
And it's quite a firm ride without being too firm.
Very smooth. It seems Skoda are coming up with a bit of a trend. They're just nice cars to drive.
Yeah.
They're comfortable.
This is a bit
they're
bumpy.
Quiet. Well, it isn't. It isn't. It is a little bit bumpy,
I mean,
but it's not so much
an unkept country lane. So.
That's exactly it. But I don't feel as though I'm being thrown around. It's not like a Land Rover, and it's not wallowy. It's quite tight.
Yeah. But I think with a jiggly kind of suspension like it's got, sort of semi-firm, if you happen to really need a wee, you would be a bit uncomfortable.
But again, we are in sport mode. I mean, let's take it out of sport mode and just stick it in eco for now.
I don't think that changes the suspension.
Doesn't seem to do anything. It just makes you more green.
Yes.
Is it green? No, it's not. Sort of a gunmetal grey, really, isn't it?
I think it's business grey, isn't it?
Business grey, that's it. Yes, business grey. One thing we are a little bit disappointed about is the colours. They seem very bluey, grey and whitey.
And browny.
And black. There's nothing wild. I suppose they've done that because then you're not driving a wild car. It's not like the Fabia Monte Carlo where you've got the rally green and the vibrant blue.
Well, I don't know, because in the flyer for this car before the launch, they have a colour called jungle green, which is not, it's not a really vibrant green, but it's a nice green.
Yes.
And I think maybe they should have kept that colour for people who want to be that little bit more individual.
They do have that goldy sort of colour.
Is it cappuccino or something?
I quite like that. Even with the seats up in the third row, you've still got quite an impressive boot. Now, under here, you've got the cover when the seats are down, stored away quite nicely. Long gone are the days where you have to fiddle around with loads of buttons and pushing and pulling and laying down and things. It's very simple. You've got a little switch here, pull, and down it goes. Same with this, pull, and down it goes. If you want to pull it up, just pull this lever and it clicks back into place. Now, traditionally you would have to crawl into the back of the car, pull the lever, or go round to the side door, pull the lever and push the seats down. Again, not so difficult in this car. They saw fit to put a handy little lever here. Just pull that and the seats fall down, and one on this side and the seats fall down. Then all you do is push it down and it locks into place. Very simple. And then under here the lever moves the seats forward and back. It's all very easy. And then to put the seats back up again, just move it forward into position, pull on the little lever here and it clips back into place. But not only that, you can also recline the seats to whatever position you want, so you can have laid back or more upright, which not only makes it more comfortable for the passengers but also gives extra leg room in the third row. And then of course your armrest with your cup holders. Another optional extra in this car are these. Now you might think, what on earth are you going to get in them? Well, push the little button at the side, slide it open. It's big enough to fit a tablet or a mobile phone. Part of the climate control package means you can control it from the front, also individually from the rear as well. You also get the 12-volt socket in the front, a 12-volt socket here, and one in the back. Not only do you get your 12-volt socket, but you also get your handy little torch. It acts as a rear light when the doors are open, or a torch on its own. And once again, a feature that Skoda are very famous for at the moment is you get in the door an umbrella, and one in the passengers too. And as long as you've got this fancy little key in your pocket, the door locking mechanism is keyless. To lock, to unlock. Having a shared platform with the Seat Ateca and the VW Tiguan, its mission is to surpass those and compete with the likes of BMW X3 and the Audi Q5. So how does it compare with those? Let's start with some traditional top trumps specification comparisons. Now the Kodiaq comes in several different ranges, like many of their others. You have the S, the SE, the SEL, and the Edition. Just one edition, but it's the Edition. The Edition version. This one is the Edition. So what we have here is our pieces of paper. We are going to compare the Skoda Kodiaq, the Audi Q5,
the Volkswagen Tiguan, and the BMW X3.
So what we're going to do, we are going to compare 4 comparative cars. We will compare this, which is the Skoda Kodiaq 2-litre TDI 4x4 with 187 brake horsepower Edition. A comparative Audi would be the Audi Q5 S-Line with the 2-litre TDI engine with 187 brake horsepower. We will compare the VW Tiguan R-Line, which has the 2-litre TDI 187 brake horsepower, and the BMW X3 xDrive M Sport with the 187 brake horsepower 2-litre TDI engine. So they all have the same engine with the same brake horsepower and a similar trim level. So let's start. Weight.
So the BMW X3 is 1900 kilograms around.
The Audi Q5 is around 1695 kilograms.
The Volkswagen Tiguan is around 1,700 kilograms.
And the Skoda Kodiaq is around 1,700 kilograms. So the Audi Q5 wins on that one.
It does.
Right, height.
The BMW, 1.68 metres.
The Audi Q5, 1.65 metres.
The Tiguan, 1.66 metres.
And the Kodiaq, 1.66 metres. Width.
BMW 1.88 metres.
The Q5 1.89.
The Tiguan 1.83.
And the Kodiaq 1.88. So they're all around similar heights and widths.
Yeah.
Length.
BMW 4.67 metres.
Audi Q5 4.88 metres.
The Tiguan 4.48 metres.
And the Kodiaq 4.69 metres. So the Audi Q5 is the largest of the four, and the Tiguan is the smallest. Okay, boot space.
With the seats in the upright position or the folded
seats
position?
with the down position, so
the folded.
folded.
Position. Okay. The BMW 1,600 litres.
The Audi Q5 1,550 litres.
The Tiguan 1,655 litres.
And the Skoda Kodiaq has a massive 2,065 litres. So this has the biggest amount of boot space with all the seats folded down.
Now when you consider that this is not the longest of the cars...
Yeah, that's surprising. I guess the others have more legroom. Okay, seats.
Okay, the X3 is 5 seats.
The Q5 has 5 seats.
The Tiguan has 5 seats.
The Kodiaq has 7 seats. Torque.
BMW 295 pounds-feet.
Okay, Audi Q5 295 pounds-foot of torque.
The Tiguan 295 pounds-foot.
That's what the Kodiaq has got.
Is it 295 pounds-feet?
It is 400 newton meters, 295 pounds-foot of torque all across the board.
Yep.
Brake horsepower, like we've said, 187 all across the board. 0 to 62.
Now here's some differing figures.
Yes.
So the BMW is 8.1 seconds.
The Q5 is 7.9 seconds.
The Tiguan is 7.9 seconds.
The Kodiaq is 8.6 seconds. Now we're not sure whether that means somebody's lying or there is a difference. We can't work out why. Especially when it comes to weight, because the Kodiaq is 1,700 kilos, the X3 is 1,900 kilos, but 0.7 seconds faster to 62, with the same amount of torque and the same amount of brake horsepower. You think someone might be lying?
Who knows?
Top speed.
BMW 130.
Q5 135.
The Tiguan 131.
Kodiaq 130. Now, does that mean Audi is going downhill?
Wow. It's got to be something to do with gearing or tyre size.
Maybe.
Or aerodynamics.
Maybe. Okay, claimed miles per gallon. This is combined figure.
Yeah, the combined claimed figure, which we know is absolute nonsense. Just gives us an idea as a comparative figure. So BMW 56.
Q5 56.
Tiguan 49.6.
Kodiaq 49. Now again, this seems a little bit sort of what's going on here, but anyway. Alright, CO2s. Now this is where we are in a slightly different league. Again, we're not sure whether people are telling the truth, whether it's claimed, or whether it's actually genuine. But what we've got for the BMW X3...
135 CO2s.
That's quite low.
That is very low.
The Audi Q5, 132, also quite low.
The Tiguan, 149. It's a big jump.
It is. Whereas the Kodiaq is 151. Now, the difference here is that the Q5, the X3 and the Tiguan are all in the £200 first year tax bracket, whereas that puts the Kodiaq in the £500 bracket.
But only for the first year.
Only for the first year.
Yeah.
So coming up on your screen now is a list of some of the equipment we have found that features in the Kodiak, but does or does not feature in some of the others. There is a massive list, of course, and it depends on which one you go for, but these are some of the pretty standard things that you expect to find, and whether they feature in the Q5, the X3 or the Tiguan comparative models. So coming up on your screen now is a list of some of the equipment we have found that features in the Kodiak, but does or does not feature in some of the others. There is a massive list, of course, and it depends on which one you go for, but these are some of the pretty standard things that you expect to find, and whether they feature in the Q5, the X3 or the Tiguan comparative models.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of...
Now this particular car, being a 7-seater, you would think, okay, well maybe the third row is just for children. Well, actually it's not. I'm sitting comfortably as a passenger with a good 3 or 4 inches space between my knees and the dashboard. Now if I'm sitting here, if I then get in the second row of seats, sitting comfortably where I am, I've got about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of space between my knees and the front seat. If I then get in the third row of seats, my knees are almost touching the back seat. I've probably got just a few millimeters, but I am comfortably in the back. So you can easily get 3 adults in a row in this car, and that is impressive.
As usual, there's not really suitable space for an adult hips in the middle seat in the back here, but it's not bad. It's better than some.
And the best thing about being in the back is that you can flick the ears of the person in the middle and the front. Are we there yet?
Oh, shut up!
Bored.
Do you want me to turn this car around?
Just facing the other way. But what is a good feature is that these seats are not just 60-40, they're 40-20-40. So you could have both down, or just the middle down, or just the other side down.
Very flexible.
The touchscreen is easy to use and very touch sensitive. You've got lots of things with your music, or you can have your phone, and very, very easy, not difficult at all. It's not like your other SUVs where you need a science degree to work out what is what. Sat nav is very nice and clean and very sharp image, and you've also got the surround camera. Now on this car it's an optional extra, but it's a very neat gadget to have. You can also have the view of the car via the cameras. So you push this button here and it shows a superimposed car with the real ground around. Now Malcolm is walking round the car and you can see him on the camera here, and you can have different angles so you can see the rear of the car. Push this button here, see the front of the car, the right side and the left side, or further away, so you can see a much wider angle of people walking around the car. Now that's a very cool feature. It's probably something I would spend all day playing with. Now why do you need this technology? Well, let's say for example you're parked up and a small child stands at the back of the car. Now we've used the tripod here as an example of a small child. We've lowered it down to about 3 foot, and you can see here that you can see it quite happily on the camera, moving it into different positions that would traditionally be a blind spot for you and you can't see anything, but you stick it down there, you can see everything. Now that's a fantastic idea. At the back, at the front or the side, in your traditional blind spots where your mirrors and your eyes cannot actually physically see. And it also seems that when you push all the buttons, they make nice little noises, like you're playing Gran Turismo from 1998. Very nice. This car has delicate little features like different coloured ambient lighting. Now, we've noticed as well that the screen has a sensor on it, so you don't even have to touch the screen. You go near it and the feature comes on. As you can see here, it's a bit light in the day to be able to show you on the actual car, but it changes the ambient colours and you can have all these different colours to whatever your taste is. Now, little touches like that is something that's quite special, I think. So lots of different features are the background lighting we were just talking about, the parking manoeuvring, driver assistance. Now this is quite good. It means you can turn on and off all the blind spot monitors, the lane advanced warning. It's all very clever. And you can set 3 different driver modes with a guest as well, so it can do a personalized welcome and set up the system for each individual driver. Now, if you want this particular car with all these toys and features on, it will cost you just £38,405. Now, for a car that's got all this technology, that is a fantastic price, I think.
And keeps it underneath the premium car road tax thing.
Indeed it does, because basically you've got a car that is luxurious, it's big, it's got 7 seats, it's got leather, it's got all the toys that you would usually get in the edition, plus all these optional extras. So basically you've got the top of the range with everything you could possibly want added onto the car, and it's still less than £40,000.
That's good, isn't it?
That's impressive. Right, let's talk about some prices. So what we're going to do first, we're going to talk about the start price for each car, the top price you can pay for each car without all the optional extras on top, and then the price of the comparative cars that we're talking about today. So
the BMW X3, its start price on the road is £34,455.
the Audi Q5 starts at £37,240.
The Volkswagen Tiguan starts at £23,210.
And the Skoda Kodiaq for the S model starts at £21,565. So that is significantly less than the Q5 and the X3, and still £2,000 cheaper than its sister, the Tiguan.
So moving on to the top price that you could pay for any one of the vehicles that we're comparing, which includes whether or not it has, a bigger engine or whatever. It's just the start price for the top spec model.
Yes.
No options.
Because the Audi Q5, the top spec comes with a 3-litre V6, and the BMW also comes with the bigger engine.
With a straight 6 diesel
Yes.
posh thing. So the top price for the BMW X3 is £46,755.
The top price for the Q5 is £41,355, or £51,200 if you go for the SQ5.
Ooh. So the top model on the Volkswagen Tiguan is £39,470.
And the top of the Kodiaq Tree comes in at £35,210. So again, significantly cheaper. Okay, so the comparative model, this one that we are in, without the optional extras, comes in at £35,210.
Whereas the BMW will cost you £39,115.
The Q5 will cost you £40,290.
And the Volkswagen Tiguan will set you back a whopping £37,060.
So once again, it's cheaper across the board. So this Skoda Kodiaq is not only full of equipment and has everything you could possibly want, it's the cheapest one out of the 4.
Works for me.
It's a no-brainer. So it just goes to show, for £35,000 or even £21,500, you can get yourself one of these excellent, and I mean excellent, Skoda Kodiaqs. You don't need to spend £50,000, you don't need to spend £40,000. This to me is something I can see myself driving, and I'm not just saying that because I'm reviewing it. I actually genuinely really like this car. So that brings us to the end of this episode of Motors for the Masses. Thank you very much for watching. Please tune in next time when we'll be back with more cars, and we'll be back with another episode of our news and some Top Gear reviews. So until then, please drive carefully but have fun. Thank you. Bye bye. Oh yeah, forgot to say, please subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you to everybody who has subscribed, because we're growing massively. There's a new giveaway coming up very soon. Bye bye.